everybody.
Well,
Well,
hello.
hello
Welcome.
there. Welcome
How's
back.
everybody doing?
Yeah, how's is it rainy where you are, Nick?
It is pouring rain in LA today.
It
Yes, it
is the
is.
same thing up here in the Riverside. It is very, very rainy. So hopefully you all are having a bright sunny day. Unless you love the rain, then have a rainy day. Do whatever you want. There's no rules.
Exactly.
I personally love the rain, and so I'm just like windows open, basking in the glory of the gloominess.
That's a great mood. I like that as
Yes.
well, especially if you got a lot of work to do. Ah,
Oh yeah.
perfect kind of day. Yep.
And we have a
How's
lot of friends in
everybody
chat. Yeah,
doing?
Katrina's here. Shay is here. It's snowing where Shay is. That's awesome. Christine, Sydney, hello. Sydney and Sydney's little sister, hello. Nice to
Hello to
see you.
everybody.
Um, Thanks for joining us. Nick, do you want to talk a little bit about who you are, what this show is, that kind of
Yeah.
thing?
Sure. What's up, everybody? Nick Longo. I'm in Los Angeles, branding and packaging designer and teacher at Cal State Northridge here in Los Angeles. And our fun little show here is Office Hours. We're here to kind of give you guys an extra kind of area to learn and hang out and do all that kind of fun stuff. And we're typically like doing all kinds of cool stuff, but right now we're doing Adobe mobile apps. Andrew, tell us about you. Who are
Yes.
you?
Hi, hello. Um, Hi, I'm Andrew Hochradel. I'm a brand identity designer, content creator. I don't know what I am anymore, but I do a lot of design stuff, and I'm here on camera with you a lot, which is super fun. And so I'm in Southern California as well. Been in the design industry for a hot minute, did design education for a long time, and I'm here now to impart my wisdom, my years and years of experience. You can't see it. There's some gray under here. To all of you in the chat to give you all the ideas that you need. And it's snowing here in the mountains where Lisa is. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Wow.
That's
That's
awesome.
great.
So
That's great.
Nick, what are we doing today?
Ooh, so we've taken a trip down video, we've looked at photography, we've looked at social media. Now we're going to get into Adobe Fresco. And this
Yes,
is one of their more newer ones, I would say, right? I think it's probably the newest on our list of what we're talking about.
I think so as
And
well.
yeah, it's the first, I think, like all-encompassing drawing illustration app that works with the Creative Cloud brilliantly. I think that's been
Yep.
was the missing link for so long, and now we have it. So
Yep.
I'm excited to get into it. We both kind of have been using it a little bit, right?
It's true, yeah. We've been playing around, kind of using it. We were talking before the show that instead of Nick Longo and Andrew Hocko, you can refer to us as Nick T. Longo and Andrew T. Hochradel as
Yes.
we work in Fresco and start drawing. It just feels right.
I
And
might make some brushes. I don't even know.
who knows? It feels like it might be a part of me. So we are here again on the show, Office Hours. We are doing Adobe Abroad, and like Nick said, we are doing all the Office, or all the mobile apps. My goodness! And something else that we're doing is we are giving you homework each week. Something very special to this show for you to follow along, try new things. And Nick, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the homework from last week. Y'all did an amazing, amazing job last week, and the first one that I want to take a look at is Julie B. Sorry, my brain is like halfway here today, guys. So if you hear me make up words, let's just pretend like they're
Let's just,
real and
you
just
know,
keep going. Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and hop over, and we're going to take a look at Julie B. Did some awesome work, and you can find the place to post your work right over there on the Discord. That's where you can get involved. That's where our community is thriving. And Nick, what did
excellent.
we do last week?
So we looked at Rush, and Rush is the video editing software. I loved how fast, like everybody was already just like, "Oh, I can't wait to do this. I'm going to do this." And I was thinking, "Yeah, I can't wait till we see what actually comes through here." And everyone again just kind of like blew us away, man. This was so. I hope you guys had fun with this, right?
Oh
This
yeah.
was a blast.
Yeah, and talking about snow days, here's a great video from our friend Julie of a snow day. Great job with transitions. We've got some effects here of zooming
Hmm.
in, zooming out. The Ken Burns effect. There's a fire truck in the
I,
snow. The
that's my
production
favorite part.
the production value on this super high. But great job storytelling, taking into account a lot of those principles that we had talked about of like different shots, the close-up, the wide angle. You're doing some wipes here, some transitions, all kinds of super fun stuff that we talked about when using Adobe Premiere Rush.
Yeah.
Fantastic job, Julie B. And then one more that I wanted to show, which is it's really a double bonus video because we get an awesomely edited video as well as a little bit of a cat. And that is from our friend Laura Staniva. We did the great indoors. And Nick, any thoughts on this video?
I'm trying to find it. Wait, hold on. Where was it? Oh, it's way at the bottom, right?
Yes. Yep.
Let me get to it.
Yes. So it is.
Go for it.
It is vertical crop, which I love.
Oh,
I
yes.
love this. Like we get the cat bonus, but then also your shots are really, really great. They're unique. We've got the horses again. I believe that you did horse pictures for Lightroom as well, and I just can't get enough of it. Please keep it up. Oh, sweetie. And you did a really great job cutting this together, telling us a story about your day, and then showing a little accents like you have pop up there, a little animation of be happy.
Yeah.
Super fun. So great work there. And the place that you can go to get involved, like I said, is our Discord, which is right here. So the link is right over there. And in this Discord, we have people posting all of their homework. Jiro Tima just dropped his in there.
I know. I
And
saw that.
this is where the after party will be. So immediately following the show, we'll be hopping over into Discord. We'll be hanging out. And Nick, are we going to be doing anything special after this show?
I think we might be adding a few more giveaways.
That's right.
To the Discord after party.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you know office hours, you know we love to do giveaways. So we'll be hopping over to Discord at the end of the show and doing some giveaways. I believe today we have some more merch. We've got some pins, some fun stuff to give away in there. And
Nice.
yeah, so join us for that. We'll remind you at the end of the show. But enough talking. Let's go ahead and hop into what we are talking about today. We do have some slides for you that we'll upload into our folder, which you can find right down below me. We're going to kind of blast through these today. We do have a lot. I put a lot in these slides, so we'll kind of graze over some stuff, but you can always go back and refresh and take a look at them after the fact. So Nick,
Perfect.
Let's hop in and talk a little bit about what the show is and where we're going.
Let's do it. All right. So are we on the syllabus?
Oh, we are on the syllabus.
You tell me, because you know about this delay.
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah. So
yeah,
we are right now. This week we're doing kind of open air painting, murals. We're working on Fresco, showing you guys how to leverage Fresco, so that if you are out, you are somewhere, and you get inspired, you're able to draw that, make that right away. We're also going to be talking a little bit about art principles, some artists to get you inspired, and then these are the ways you can get involved. Nick, how can people get involved?
Get on board with the Discord channel. That's the best way to do it. The homework is on fire lately. I don't know. It's like
true.
this new abroad thing. Maybe we're all just dying to get out and travel, and this is our only thing we could do. So yeah, join us there for
Great
sure.
job. Yeah. So we're going to jump right in, and today is going to be about art. We're going to talk about art for
a big general topic.
Yeah, it's just kind of general art. We talked about like Fresco is kind of able to draw, to letter, to do everything. So we wanted to address art in general and start with the question that we've been asking each week: why art?
Why
art? And art has the ability to adapt and communicate to any audience in any location. It can transcend barriers such as time, language, location, age, and political views. It is universal to everyone, and that's why I think it's so important and so cool that we have a tool like Fresco to be able to take these ideas that we've seen throughout history of art, and now it's just on our iPad or on our iPhone, always accessible to us.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that art is expansive. We're going to go back and forth as we talk through this, and I'm going to show you some fine artists. Nick's going to show you some designers. We're just going to go back and forth and really show that there is no right answer when it comes to art, when it comes to drawing, when it comes to creation. You can do whatever you want, which I do feel like, Nick, you said this, that Fresco is like the in-between of all the programs.
It really is. It brings everything kind of together, right? Like I've been pretty surprised at all that kind of cool stuff of what's happening with it, how you can use it. But I was also just wondering like how I can actually use it as more of a graphic designer and less of maybe an illustrator. And you don't have to be the illustrator to figure this out and use it and supplement the art that you're going to do. Some of the examples we're going to show you, I think really kind of highlight how this handmade thing can play in anything that we do.
Yep. It's going to be a fun show because it definitely is the perfect cross section of like full design and then full fine art, like hitting in between, which I think is what Fresco exactly is. It's the intersection of those two things. So Nick, let's talk a little bit about the side of using Fresco and art as a designer. What are some examples? What are some things that you come to mind when you think about that?
Wow. I love the idea of not relying so much on the font and the photography and the imagery and a color that I'm generating digitally. What can I do that's like more organic, more handmade? Really when the project or the brand that you're working on like asks for that. You know what I mean? And instead of going out and paying for a lot of maybe clip art or things that you find at like different online sources, why not try creating it yourself? And then wouldn't it be great if it could just show up in your Creative Cloud library when you're in Illustrator? That's how I'm using it for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And so the first example we have here, which I think is like the one of the best examples of merging that idea of like art and crafting by hand and drawing with something that is usually much more technical. That's like a typography, right? That you're usually seeing like charts and graphs and anchor points, but it's kind of the twist on that. Can you talk a little bit about John and kind of what he does with his style?
Oh, hell yeah. John Contino is such a
so
great designer. I know. I'm sorry. Yeah, did I drop the H word? This is a little sampling of John's work, and what's really cool too is he came in as a guest in my class and was showing his transition from sketchbook to iPad. So he has made a full switch into the digital world of drawing, and I don't think this guy's ever used a font in his life. Like he makes everything by hand, including his book called Brand by Hand. I highly recommend. Great book to have in if you're starting a little book collection. But to me, this is the stuff you can't match anywhere else. Even his hand signature, I think, has that kind of John Hancock kind of vibe to it, you know, where it feels like the actual signature, and it feels like we all do our R's different, we all do our L's different, or whatever it is, right? This captures your personal touch that you will do that nobody else has by doing it by hand. So what's great is I think it's neat to see people like him who have taken it and gone straight over to the iPad as the digital source now for all of that handmade stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Really cool.
So pushing over another great example is a friend of I think both of ours, Lauren Hom,
yeah.
right? Yes. Mm-hmm. I always like take a guess and hope that I get it right.
It's not home, so I always remember it's Hom.
Yes,
because she's Lauren, Hom Sweet Hom.
Yes,
that's like, come on, too good.
similar vibe in the idea that it's like drawing and handcrafted, but again, a completely different approach, much more refined. Can you talk a little bit about her work?
Yeah, she's a great muralist. She's an incredible mentor, and like if you check out her site, Hom Sweet Hom, you'll see all the things that she offers to help designers get into this thing. And she does great murals, a lot of good typography, very like positive messages, and really, really cool stuff like this. But to me, you look at this thing on the right, like that, even if you found those fonts, you still got to make the puzzle pieces work. So why not just try it at the very beginning from scratch and do it yourself? And I really challenge most designers who don't think they can do this. Just mess around and have fun with something like Fresco, and you'll see how you can get better and better and better. Yep. But to me, I think this is fantastic stuff because it's her signature. It's her own writing.
Yes. You know? And yes, thank you, Cody, for the link there.
Yeah.
Thanks, absolutely. So let's go ahead and hop in to another one that's one of my favorite artists right now. His name is Chopper Nars. I think I've talked about him on other streams. He's like recently come on my radar. Incredible illustrator. This is some of his work, right? It's just bonkers. He did the Kong versus Godzilla piece the other day. And you can follow him on Behance, but this just shows that like it can be anything, right? We see this great typography, this great hand lettering, and then we see this great illustration. And in the middle here, we see the combination of the two, right?
Yeah.
That anything is possible when you're in Fresco. You're not having to think about, are these vector points perfect? Like, is this going to convert over to the right pixel ratios? Let's just make it. Let's make something and see what happens, leveraging the tools that we have and like the textures you can get, the awesome brushes. There's so much there. So I'm going to like absolutely blast through this next part because it's really just ideas and concepts to get you guys inspired. And then we're going to hop over and Nick's going to show us a bit in Fresco on iPad. And then I'm going to hop into Fresco on the phone, which is pretty fun.
Perfect. Let's do it.
I heard of Lauren Holm. Yes, absolutely. And yes, Maud, if we can, I believe it's Cody. If you could pull up Chopper, his Behance, that would be great. Drop a link for us. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't tell you. Okay, cool. So let's talk about some terms real quick. Composition is just the arrangement of objects or elements in a piece of art, right? When we're making something, we want to make sure that it looks good. And the rule of thirds is the thing that is kind of the benchmark for doing art. Nick, do you use the rule of thirds?
I can't say I do in well, I guess so, but like when you're arranging something, pairs always never feel balanced, right? Yep. Or they're too balanced. But to add that kind of randomness to stuff. Yeah, I find that the thirds do help. I'm not much of a grid user though, I would say.
Yes, I'm not either.
Yeah.
Yep, but
Maybe that's why everything's going so wrong.
Exactly, yes. So, rule of thirds, great idea to keep in mind. Compositions, just basically how you're laying things out. The next term is tension, and tension is a balance maintained in a work between opposing forces or graphic elements. We saw that even in that piece that we just looked at with choppers of King Kong and Godzilla, that they are two different pieces that are balanced and having a tension between them. This is an artist, a great artist for you to be inspired by, who uses type as well as illustration. His name is Cassandre, and you can see the tiny little tugboat and then the giant cruise liner that he's using the tension of the small versus the big to show just how big that cruise liner is.
Yes.
So your homework is Nick, what's our homework going to be?
Your homework is going to be creating your work of art from Fresco, and it's going to be inspired by a favorite city you've been to.
Exactly. So maybe your city has something interesting that can create tension by incorporating maybe more than one landmark, creating something that's kind of the busyness of the streets. It's something that you could incorporate.
I got to say, this image alone, I think, was one of the first things before even becoming a graphic designer that I saw, and it stopped me in my tracks for that exact reason. Because you're like, that's not a photograph. That's not really... It's an illustration, but it was graphic and it was made of shapes, and I related to so quickly.
Yes, and yes, Giratima, absolutely. Tension is very much about contrast at times.
Yes.
Creating that contrast. And this is like such a side note, but did you ever go to Red Robin back in the day when like they had posters like this on the wall?
Oh my gosh, yes. Mine, I think ours has never been updated, so it might still have all that stuff.
I want to go so bad. That was like my favorite thing. Anyway, sorry, continuing on, that's a side note. The next is balance, right? Balance is kind of the opposite of tension. It's just that your elements feel right and have visual stability. Looking at your screen right now, Nick, even some of your sketches, and once we'll get in there and kind of talk about it, is there may be a ton of things on there, but somehow it still feels cohesive. We saw that with John Contino. There's a ton of pieces, but it still feels balanced. It doesn't feel like it's lopsided either way. And the greatest example of that in my book is MC Escher. I'm a huge MC Escher fan. Everything is super balanced, very kind of intentional on the composition. So as you're creating your piece in Fresco, try to think about keeping things balanced.
Yeah, I love that art. That's so beautiful.
It's so good. The next is light. I'll be showing you a bit of this when we hop into the phone version of Fresco using blending modes, but it basically is taking something flat and making it look more 3D. We're going to be making a sun, and I'll show you how to go from a yellow dot into something that's textured that feels like it has a little bit more of tension to it. If you want inspiration, Degas is a great inspiration. Lots of play with light, which is gorgeous.
Incredible.
And last of all is harmony. And harmony is unifying style, color, elements in a consistent and balanced way. We saw this with Lauren's work, that it was, right, the style and the emotion of all those letters, even though they were all different, they were all in different colors, they still came together and created some kind of harmony. Great artist for that, George Seurat. He painted using little dots of color, and then it would turn into these great scenes. And so it's like the ultimate example of that for me, because it's like a bunch of chaos that somehow comes together into one thing.
I love this one too, because I think most graphic designers can relate to harmony, because if you're working brand, or if you work in these things, it has to have that automatically, right?
Yes.
Like you can't have this one thing that just completely goes off on a tangent within a system. So to me, when you look at this and you look at the color choices, the texture, the shadowing, the focus, the unfocused, it's all working.
Yep, and especially, like you're saying, in brand systems, it's not about one thing. It's about the harmony of all of those things and how they fit together.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So here are some inspirations for you. Take a screenshot, screen cap this, drop links if you can find them. On the left are a bunch of artists for you to follow. John Contino, which Nick pointed out. Kyle T. Webster, our good friend, who's just an absolute monster when it comes to Fresco. Simone Wilder is a lettering artist, does incredible work. Our friend Chopper, who we just took a look at. Ade Hogue is another one. Love his work. And then on the right are different styles. If you want to maybe incorporate different styles into your homework. Nick, do you know any of these styles? Can you point them out and describe what any of these are?
Oh, Cubism is one of my favorites.
Okay.
I love that style. To me, again, speaking to a graphic designer, I would say Impressionism, I know very, very well. Surrealism as well, too. But I wouldn't say the others. I can maybe go right off the bat and define them.
Ooh, fun. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to define them. I want you guys to Google them, do some research. This show is all about learning, and it helps me if I make you learn yourself. So, this is a great list. Screen cap this and just go through and Google these different movements, and hopefully they'll inspire you when you get in to, maybe if you're drawing an orange, maybe it's a square orange, right? Try to put some
Yeah.
flair on it and see what you can do.
Yep.
All right.
Break the
So
rules.
break the
Break the
rule. There's no
rules.
rules. There's no rules. So let's talk a little bit about Fresco, Nick, and hop into the actual program. What is like the thing for Fresco? If we're talking about like a huge highlight, what's the thing?
It's literally a paint studio on the go.
Yes.
I mean, you have these tools and these great things to just turn any raw, real art into something I think you can use digitally on any project you're doing. To me, again, it's brand new. I've never been this kind of into wanting to have to draw and do things that are by hand, and getting inspired by other designers who are doing it and seeing their work in Fresco on all different kinds of social media is just very cool. But it's painting any time, any place,
Yep.
really.
And the big thing for me is the brushes. Like
Hmm.
we've got brushes in other programs, but like honestly, who cares? Because these brushes are so good. Like
Yeah.
the way that they're integrated into Fresco is amazing. And we'll hop in just a second. But that's a big thing is working with brushes, having a full like art studio in your hand at all times.
Yes.
And a whole bunch of features. Clipping mask will go over. It does sync with Creative Cloud, and there is text layer support on iPad for fonts as well.
Yeah.
So it's just like an endless trove of fantastic resources. And speaking of this fantastic trove, Nick, are you ready to just hop in?
Let's just do it. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's just do it. We'll send
Let's
it.
just do it.
I'm gonna send it.
Let's
All
just,
right.
where's that from?
It's like a viral video of a guy in a snowmobile, and he's like gonna make a jump, and he's like, I don't care, man. Like I'm still gonna send it.
Send it.
I'm gonna send it.
Someone went crazy with that. That was hilarious. Oh my
Yes.
God. You just brought back some crazy memories there.
All right, we're gonna hop over to your iPad, Nick.
Excellent.
And Nick is here on the home screen
Yes.
of the iPad. Let me move you up so that there we go. All right. So Nick, take it away. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what's going on over there.
Yeah, excellent. So this is kind of the home screen that you get when you open. I can obviously start with a new document here at the top. There's upcoming features. You can go right here into this Discover area and learn on the left. There are tutorials right on the app, which is fantastic.
And this is something that's in like all of the mobile apps. So like as we've been teaching you guys, there are tutorials in all of them. So if there's something that we like kind of teach you, they're like, oh, I want to learn more about that. There's usually a tab that shows you like literally everything you can do with that concept.
Like, look at this. Here's all the things you can learn. If I go to Discover as well, you can see all the streams that have been already shown on this thing. It's in the app. Like
It's right there.
like brilliant, right?
Which
So
live streaming is also a thing from here. We'll show you that at the end. But you are able to live stream from Fresco. It's literally gonna blow your mind.
Crazy.
All right, let's hop in and draw some brushes, draw some stuff, and show everyone how to use
guys,
it.
I want you to see here at the very top left, you have 3 different kinds of brushes. And I think that's the biggest thing that separates this from here. And this first one is pixel brushes. So think of this as the Photoshop, right? This is pixelated things that will be used. You can print with this, you can show. But if I take something, and let's go here, we'll take vintage charcoal, and I'm gonna go give it a different color here. By the way, what's very cool about this is I can go to any of these colors here and pick something, and I instantly have that color. Now, if I zoom in here,
it's so good.
You can see it is pixel, right?
Yep.
And that's really interesting. Now, this little circle here that's just floating around, I can move it anywhere I want, but this modifier is literally a modifier for any tool you're on. So as you are in that tool, that modifier does a different thing for each thing. So when I hold it down, I can go here, and you can see I can actually, what it's gonna do here is it's gonna actually erase. So I don't have to change tools. I hold that down because it knows probably the number one thing I want to do to this is to erase or to undo or do something. So you have that flexibility there as well. So the next one here, I'm gonna click on, is your live brushes. Live, think of this as watercolor or oil that you're using on a canvas that hasn't dried yet.
Yes, and I feel like this is the thing that like
this is crazy.
Yeah, for me in Fresco, it's like a whole new world that like we've had pixel brushes in Photoshop, we've had vector brushes in Illustrator, and the live brushes like just become something you're like, wait, what? I don't understand.
Yeah.
This is a whole new kind of brush. And so Nick,
Yeah.
tell us about what they do, and then show us a little demo of like how it works, because it's
Yeah,
mind numbing.
this is really, really weird. When they showed this at Max, everybody kind of freaked out. I do want to show you that here I can go right to all of my libraries here. So everything I have, anything I've done, my library, you can see all these are all my color palettes that are right in my Creative Cloud that show up on. So if these are brand colors, I know right off the bat when I take any of these and brush with them, you'll see what happens. Look, it's still kind of moving, right? Now, it hasn't dried yet. So let's go here. Let's grab an opposing color. And as I blend it in, you can see what's happening. And as I kind of hold it, you look at the diffusion happening in there, which is really, really cool.
Yes,
Isn't
it's
this great?
so amazing. And I believe that you can actually change the amount of water versus pigment.
Yes.
So if you don't want it as dark, so like if we
Yes.
wanted to, we could just add more water to this, right?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and that's the modifier. So the modifier, this little guy, remember he changes for whatever thing you're on. If I hold it now here, watch this. It's actually adding like water and it's spreading. And look at the gradient you can get in there, which is cool.
It's
And
so cool.
It didn't erase, it actually did that. Now, the cool thing too, I want to show you is the oil as well. So you can see here, I'm in watercolor. I like the way this is, this interface, it has to come to desktop because it's like, it's just amazing the way this works.
It's the greatest way to select brushes.
It just slides as you go and then you can move around. Now I'm going to let's take this one. Now this is oil. See the difference? Look at the canvas in there.
It looks like oil. Like it looks like we have painted on our iPad.
Exactly. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take that down a bit in size just so we can see the difference. But you can see here, if you needed to shade something, you can do that by having that kind of value in there. And again, holding the modifier, I'm actually kind of position. I'm getting that and I can stretch it out even more so as well.
It's so crazy, and it's awesome how you get the things that you would get in the real world, right? Of like the little dips and the scrapes, all in there with those brushes that you don't really get anywhere else. Like if you're using just a regular brush or a vector brush, you have to paint those in. This actually does it for you.
Yeah. Now, if you notice too, like I'm staying in here with these are the layers that these things are here on these two squares on the right. But as you go more and add more layers, again, unlimited layers to this, I'm now going to the third style, which is the vector brush. And vector this is the game changer, because if you're the Illustrator user and you're going to do something here that has to go to print and you want it to be super clean, not pixelated, same way vector is on your Illustrator, you take this and now you have this new style here, which has a fluidity that as you go into it, you can see it doesn't pixelize. It's literally vector art. And you take this, you can go as much as you want. And what's neat is you can see with your pressure of your pen, the more I push, I'm getting a thicker from that same exact tip and from that size there.
And it has the same thing in Illustrator that you can smooth things out so that it either like follows your breath super precisely, or it will make it a little bit smoother and help you smooth that out.
Yeah, so if I go to, I'm trying to remember here.
And yes, Fresco is available on desktop, iPad, and iPhone. I'm actually going to show you the iPhone version in just a minute.
So here you go. So all your brush settings are here. And as I move around here, I can test it in this little preview window and see, did I get the angle right? Is this correct? Should I go a little more rounder with it? And you're previewing, you're not messing up your art. You're actually in this little window. Come on.
The preview window is I was just playing around and I was like, I had played with messing with the brushes and changing the settings, and I'm like, okay, this feels familiar from Photoshop, and then realized that you can just draw on that box, and I'm like, oh, I can have my own reference about what this is going to look like and how the pressure works.
So here's light pressure in this. Now I add, it's just like your curves window, and now I have a bit more pressure per there. So this is like a whole pressure area to just stop, right?
It's crazy.
It's just incredible.
It's crazy.
So, that's kind of basic of those. Then you have your eraser, you have all these other tools here to kind of move things around. You have the smudge brushes. Now I do want to show you one thing here. When you go to this brush, down here at the bottom, there's additional ones. I'm going to go here and discover new brushes. There's constantly new brushes to add that are actually free. There's tons you can buy as well. But any of these, if you see something you like, add to it, and they're in there. And this is through the app as well. You're not going outside of anything here. and you're
Everything's here, and
adding
I
new
think that there
brushes.
are some Keith Haring brushes that have come out.
Yes.
I know that Cal T. Webster has released like literally a million brushes. So there are always great options to find new brushes and try new things.
Yeah.
Nick, I know that we're going to get into some type stuff, but let's come back to that. So I'm going to
Yeah.
hop over into the iPhone to show you guys what it's
Do
like
it.
to work on the phone.
Go
Let's
for
push
it,
this
man.
button and see if it works. Yes, it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and open a square. And here is my artboard. So this is literally just on my iPhone. I'm here. I can pinch and zoom, do all those fun things to be able to work on it, right? And so
Yeah.
let's say that I want to do a piece that maybe is, let's do a sun. We talked about doing a sun. And so I can simply tap on the little paint bucket tool here. And clicking on that color brings up the color wheel just like we saw Nick had. And let's go ahead and just fill that layer. And you can actually fill it with the paint bucket either with a vector or a pixel. So if you want to work all in vector, you can use the paint bucket still and fill in shapes. But we're going to use pixel for now. And then we're going to use layers. So Nick was kind of painting on one sheet, and I'm really going to delve into what you can do with some of the layer functionalities here in Fresco. So clicking on this little plus over here on the side, it allows us to be able to add a new layer. And I want to add in some like atmosphere, right? Or just like a little bit of texture in the background. So I'm going to grab this pixel brush and then tap on it again and come up here and think, I think that I want to do maybe a charcoal brush, right? One of these, let's see here, charcoal pencil variant. This looks pretty good. And I can come back and select the brush options down at the bottom here. And in here, Nick was doing this as well. We can kind of come in and see how we shape dynamics. Maybe we want the size to be a little bit different. Maybe we want it to be bigger. You can play around with all of these different settings on each of the brushes, which is really, really cool. We want it to scatter maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to use this to do some texture atmosphere in the background. So we're just going to do white. Oh, tap, tap, tap white, tap white, tap white. Got it.
Hard to believe this is on your phone to begin with. That's just crazy.
So true. So I'm going to up my size here, and now you can see I'm kind of just going over, and you can see that I have that little texture, and it's perfect. A nice little sky with some clouds in there. And next I'm going to draw the actual sun, and this is where we're going to get into some kind of complex layers. I'm going to grab another brush that this time let's grab, you know what, let's just grab the same thing. Let's grab a charcoal pencil brush, and we can use that.
Perfect.
Kind of fill things in. So I'm going to make it a little bit thicker. And we'll make a new layer here. And this is going to be our sun layer. Make that yellow, of course. And I'm just going to click and drag. And you can see that it has that nice little rough edge for me. That it is playing with the brush that I have. And I'm just simply swiping around and around and around to get a nice little circle sun object. And this is actually what I like the most about working on like an actual pad is I can kind of like work shapes up or like, you know, do big broad strokes, and it feels very natural to like actually work like that.
Perfect.
All right, so we have the base shape, but what I want to do is start adding some different effects, and this is where those live brushes come in that Nick was using. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer, but on this layer, I want it only to paint inside the sun shape that I have there, right? So I'm going to tap on that layer, and then you can see the little box with like an arrow that comes down. If I tap on that, it locks on to only the layer below it. So I'm just going to grab a random brush here, and I'm going to make it like a nasty green color so you guys can see. So now when I draw, you can see that it's only going inside that shape, right? So it's clipped into just that sun shape. Nothing else will affect it. It will only go in there. So we do want to play around with a live brush, except we're going to do an oil, and we're going to do kind of a chunky oil like Nick was using. And we're going to do this in a nice little yellow and kind of just start putting this in here, right? Kind of do maybe some little strokes here and there, and then we'll start playing around with the mix of these colors, right? Nick was doing with how much it blends. We can start putting this in here, and you can see that it's starting to pick up a little bit of that kind of blendedness.
So
Get a good
neat.
circle, right? Good circle there. And now I want to incorporate some more of that texture. And so we can keep layering and work with something called blending modes. In blending modes, when we looked at Degas, right, we saw the light that was pulling it forward. We can do that. So we're going to make a new
Ah,
layer. Yeah,
so nice.
it's going to be so good. We're going to make a new layer and again, clip that down so that it stays on that bottom. And go back and we're just going to grab a white and we're going to start drawing on a little bit. And you can see this white, right? It looks good. It has some nice fun texture on that sun to give us a little bit of a highlight. But instead of just being white, I want it to interact. So at the bottom bar here, I can come down and click on blend and change it to overlay. So we can scroll here until we find overlay and hit OK. And now you can see that it's augmented from being that white to overlay, picking up what's below it and really creating that contrast. And we can do the very same thing, lock down another layer. And we're going to make this one kind of a darker yellow and start to brush that in as well, right? And it looks a little bit
Get
too
some
harsh for
shadows.
me. And so what I can do is come down to opacity and just bring that opacity down to have a little bit of texture. So there we go. Now we have this awesome kind of like storybook-like textured sun, and everything is in layers so that we can change them, we can rearrange them. If we want the maybe sky, the clouds that we've made to go above everything, we can click and drag, and this will go all the way up to the top. So now the sun is behind the clouds. It's super powerful to play around with layers and start to build on itself, and just really create cool stuff, especially with those live brushes and the interactions. You can do everything. And Nick,
That's so cool.
so moving away from illustration, let's go back over to the iPad and have you show us some stuff that you can do
Yeah.
maybe as a designer and if you're working with lettering.
This is just a hodgepodge of stuff I'm going to show you
It's
because
true.
I use it in very like bits and pieces throughout some art. This was just a lockup of some type, and this was done in Illustrator, right? You could actually do this right here in Fresco as well with the
Yep.
type.
And yeah,
But
what I love to do is just type something out and then do this technique. It's like
yeah,
you start with the typeface, you don't have to draw from scratch.
exactly. So what I wanted to do with this was I wanted to make this a hand feel. I wanted to make it look like I had done this. So I went into the vector because that's where I want it to start. And what I did is I would just kind of like trace these a little bit, and I wanted it to be irregular and a little bit, funky, and maybe even like a little bit jaggedy. So I was using this almost as my template. When you have something like this, all you have to do is take the bucket, tap that, and it will fill it up with that color that you have. Whoops, wrong one. Where's the bucket guy?
Halfway down.
Halfway down. That one?
Nope. 2 more down.
There it is.
Nope. One more down. There you go. That one. The one that looks like a bucket. There you go.
I could fill a letter. Look at that. But I did this throughout the whole thing. And here I'm hiding that one. And I'm going to show you this one and show you kind of the finished idea so that you can see I used it as a trace, but basically made a much more rough and rugged version of that exact lockup that I had.
Yep.
And now you just export that in and you got it in Illustrator and ready to go in whatever your job is.
Yep, and this is really great to do. So like if you had that base there, and you took like a charcoal brush, right? Then maybe we did want to do that full on John Contino, take a charcoal brush and just trace over those edges. And instead of being that super vector, it's going to be gritty and nasty. And so that used to be the way that I did lettering is I would design it, I would print it, I would use a Sharpie and I would go over it with a Sharpie and then I would scan it back in and auto trace
every
it.
time.
And this literally like takes all of that away that you can just do it in the program.
Yeah.
All right, where are we going next, Nick? You have some
I
other
use
stuff
this
up
for
here.
just my sketching now. This is my sketch pad doing a logo design. To me, I love this idea. You basically can go in here. I can find something like as simple as a pencil, basic flat. Let's go into here. I think it's in pixel brush. Here we go. So you got basic charcoal, comic, dry, anything you want here. They're all here. Down at the bottom is sketching, and you can see this looks like a pencil. So you get this really cool vibe here. If you want to be drawing something that's going to be any kind of logo design or you name it. To me, I like doing this because now I have it. I won't lose it.
Yep.
I'm going to lose that. I'm going to lose my sketchbook, not my iPad, right?
Yes, and this is
And
all
then,
saving into the cloud. And sorry, can you go back to
yeah,
that one, Nick, real quick?
yes,
Because I think
sure.
what would be
Where is it?
interesting when I'm presenting logos or sketches or whatever, we could even have this, right? And then on a layer on top, we could add color to all of these. We could have four
Totally.
different color variations and be able to just turn those layers on and off to show the client, here's some color ideas. Oh, we don't like those. We want it like greener.
Yeah.
Cool. Here's some green versions that you can
Oh,
very easily iterate and just show things super, super quickly.
without having to redo it every single time. It's just a quick little illustration. So the one thing, this was the sketch that I had showed a client, and I took this one and we were
Freaking
literally
Nick.
live in front. Now, guys, this is why it's so good. I took my time with these. Like, these are not fast sketches. I can't do this quickly
Yes.
to be honest with you. But what I did here was I was just showing here the client wanted to see how would this look on the can. So I basically just brought in a can, just found a blank can.
Yep.
And what's great about it is I can kind of look and see how this is going to look. Hey, I think this is getting somewhere. So we signed off on this.
You know what you
before
can
doing-
do?
Yeah.
Sorry, let's try this
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Can you put the
Yeah.
art layer right above that can and then see if it will crop onto the can? So then tap on that layer and it should have a pullout. Actually, to the
This
right
one-
there, the little box with the arrow,
Oh,
right above
box.
there. Yeah, but do it on the art layer. Oh wait,
Oh,
nope,
sorry.
nope, not that one.
This one here, right?
Yeah, so that one there, move it right above the can.
There we go.
Yep, and then click on the little box with the arrow on the right there. The second one from the bottom, not that
gosh.
one. Second
This
from
one
the
here.
bottom. Yes,
There you
but
go.
you need to do it on the. You need to do it on the art.
Let's do this again. Hold on. So this,
There you go.
so
So
on the art layer,
Yep,
go here.
and then right there. Yep.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay, cool. That's what I was curious
Oh,
about. What did it?
It just to you were trying to crop it onto
I
the
was
can.
trying to crop it onto the layer, which it did. I didn't realize that it was on white. I thought that it was just like the can, like a PNG of the can.
Gotcha.
But it did crop it into.
Oh, it did
whatever-
do something. Oh, there you go.
So it's because the can actually has white around it. It's not like a full
Yes.
PNG.
Exactly. Then it would have worked perfectly.
Exactly. But yeah,
Perfect.
if it was a PNG, it would have totally cropped into those edges, and you would have had like a perfect
Yeah.
little mock-up.
There you go. That
Sorry.
looks good.
Yes. Continue
All right.
speaking, Nick.
Perfect.
Sorry.
All right. So we had that going. And then, so all I wanted to do was I was doing individual layers. So this as well, this was literally in the vector. So I'm just kind of doing this kind of stuff. And I'll go super big for the detail because again, I'm wondering, is this going to look clean? And let's double check. So if I use, let's say this one here, the vector one, you can see I'm getting this really cool artistic thing that's almost making me look like a better designer and a better drawer. I'm not figuring this out. It's doing it for me. And I'm
Yes.
getting all that cool thick and thin lines in there. So once this was all finished, this was still new to me. So I was figuring things out. And then the other thing I did was this one here, same idea. You can see it's messy. And I wanted it that way. But the one thing I made sure of was that there was a unified outline around the entire thing. So when I brought it into Illustrator, I'd have no problem with it. So again, I was doing it. You can see all my layers. It's quite messy, but I just wanted to make sure some of these were on separate layers so I can enhance them and it didn't ruin. Let's say I was doing all those the cross hatching and
Yep.
I didn't like it on its own layer. I can get rid of it and keep the outline and everything else the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
And so can we try something? Can we draw color maybe on the artichoke there, color underneath it using those live brushes and show you guys the power of this is basically what comic book artists do is they lay
Yeah.
down the black lines, they lay down their inks as they call them, and then doing a layer underneath them using those watercolor brushes, we'll
Yes.
be able to create like the coolest gradients that feel smooth and natural
Yes.
and just gorgeous
Let's
underneath
go.
that layer, all by using that layering.
Yes. So let's find, let's see here, go back here, go to my libraries. Let's find a nice, like kind of green.
And yes, Elizabeth, I agree. PNGs with white backgrounds are like the bane of my existence.
Yeah. So
There's
there
so
you
many
go.
times I'll
So
download something and be like, oh, I'm good to go.
I'm
Nope.
painting on a layer behind it. You can see here in the layers. So it's literally showing through just the white as that. Now, if I want, I can click here and get a darker version of that color, maybe down here and kind of add to it here. You see what I mean? Or actually here, it would be in the drop. You see what I mean?
Yep.
So
And you're
getting
creating
this-
shadows so easily and so quickly.
Yeah, I love this kind of technique. So to me, it's almost like there's this imaginary thing that you can't ruin on top, but you're painting below it. Like it's just magic. That's the kind of stuff I'm assuming most illustrators want to see, you know, with their kind of their process flow, right?
Yep.
So I got this already kind of figured out. And what I did was I brought it into, these are just, you can see everything else I do is literally just weird sketching and stuff. Particularly, I've been using it even live when I'm Zooming with my class. I can take the Fresco, bring their art into it, and I can draw over it and show them stuff.
Yes.
But I do want to show you kind of how this turned out. So this was kind of the final version, brought it into Illustrator and got all these elements on their own layers. It was like, it did it all for me, which is fantastic. And then this is the artwork that you got sent to the printer. So what's neat is it was AI art. It was literally what the printer wants to get. Like I didn't have to do any conversion or anything else to figure that out. And then this is the final, and you can see how it came out on the actual can. So this is the first time using Fresco on something that's actually real and being printed like right now. So
yep. And
so
what's cool is I think that shows the compatibility of like all of the things that we've talked about here, right? That we have Illustrator on iPad, we have Photoshop on iPad, that this is Dimension probably did these mockups, right?
Yes, these are all Dimension.
Yeah, so it's like cool. We could put these in Arrow, which we're doing next week, put them on a table, that it goes across the board, and it's not just like one thing that you're going to be doing. Literally, we are trying to give you tools to be able to start combining, to start changing the way that you work. The hope with Abroad is that now you start to open your mind a little bit from just being on the desktop using the desktop apps into this world of mobile apps that then leverage the desktop apps as well.
That's so great, dude. Yeah. So again, with text, got it all on text as well. You can literally just draw. You get this here. You get the keyboard. I'm going to click on this. Move that guy here. Where's the keyboard? There we go. So I'll just do office hours. Whoops.
Yeah.
I can spell.
Office hours. Oh, we have no expectations of either of us spelling on the show. I think the audience definitely is on that page that no confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it works just like Illustrator to where you can click, it does point type so you're on a line, and then you can go through here and select fonts.
Dude, I mean, look at this. I want this on my Illustrator on my desktop. This is like beautiful.
Yep. And the cool thing, so like that typeface that you have right there, right? Wow, this looks gorgeous. It's amazing. It'd look really cool if it was like printed or like had some texture to it. You could do one of two things. So you either could do a layer above it and do like a charcoal brush on the edge that's white. Yeah. So that would be like a kind of cheat around, right? That you're basically just erase the edge so you maintain the letters. Or you could trace over them with black. There are a lot of times that I just want a little bit of something on an edge here or there, and I'll literally just start a new layer and then draw right on the edge with some white to take away little bits and pieces.
Let's see what we could do here. So pixel brush probably, right?
Yep.
We want to do, let's get a charcoal.
Yeah. Hey, Wade. Wade Aidcuff is in chat. What's up, Wade? Thanks for joining us. Our usual mod. Well, not for this show. My usual mod. Wade is my personal mod.
Oh, wow.
For most of the things that I do. Cody is the mod that we love here. We also love Val and any other mods that are in chat. We love all of you equally. Wade just has a special place in my heart.
So here we go. So here I'm kind of messing around a little bit here.
Yep. And even with that, here, let me pull it up on phone real quick. I'll make a letter and then we can show it off. So what I like to do is use brushes to do shading, especially on type.
Yeah.
So the type is not currently on the phone version. They're working on it. It's something that's coming. But we can. You keep going there, Nick. I'm just going to draw real quick.
Should I do a quick live stream? Should we do that?
Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Oh, yes. Who cares about shading letters? That's like literally the one thing that I was like, we have to remember to cover this. Okay.
Yeah. So I remember this was around, but I found it I was hitting the share button here on the top right? So I'm like, oh, I'm ready to export. And I was like, what is this?
What's this button?
Live stream.
So
click on that. So I'm going to move my iPad a little bit because this is amazing. So all of a sudden live streaming, look at me. Nick Longo and Fresco. Amazing. Let's do it. So I'm going to hit next. So I get this great little thing. There's my
microphone.
This all right?
Yes. This is what I like to call the parent view of like anytime you call a parent and they're like, hello.
I can't see. Okay. So I'm going to hit start broadcast. Okay. Perfect. It says I'm off air now. Oh, what happened?
Welcome to Adobe Office Hours, where everything's live, where we rehearse it and we try it and it works. And the second we're live,
I wonder
everything
if it's
catches on
because I
fire.
am. I wonder if it's because I'm connected using this as a shared device
Oh, it
right
might be.
now.
Okay, so let's do
Yeah,
this. Let's have you
go
kill
for it.
that. And what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna show over to my screen.
Go for it.
So this is my screen. I'm on Nick's profile. So Nick, if you want to kill that and try it again and see what happens, let's see
Oh,
if we can make that work
so
by
disconnect, right?
yeah, disconnect and see if we can get
All
it to
right,
work.
go
Um,
for it.
but right now, I don't believe, Lorna, that you can stream using an external camera. I think that it just is the built-in camera. I do believe that I think that there's going to be functionality on Behance eventually for that. Um, and parent view equals Nick Longo view. Yes.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
all right. So we lost Nick for a second there, but that's okay. We will fix this. Again, you
There we
guys
go.
know that this show is so live because we like to do it live for you.
Yes. All right, I'm gonna try it again. So we're off from there, right?
Yes.
Good. Let's try it out and see how we do here, and
All
I'll
right.
let
So
you
we're
know if we are back on.
Yes, we're here on Nick's Behance page, and this is where it shows up. So if you are going to do a live stream, it shows up here on your Behance page. There will be a little tab that says videos. And
We're
when he
on.
goes live, it will show up for us. So let's go ahead and refresh this page. So we're going to go to behance.net/Longo. And there we
Follow
go. A
now,
banner
please.
pops up that says live streaming with Nick Longo from Fresco. We're going to go ahead and watch that live stream. Ooh, it's Behance Inception. And you can see
We're
here
on.
that we have Nick. Oh, we have double sound going through. And this is his screen. This is him working. We've got the camera. It's literally what's happening here on Adobe Office Hours, except like from Nick's iPad.
This is crazy. Yeah, I got the comment and the chat right there, which is great. I can see my program. I can move things around, which is really cool. I can collapse this, which is really helpful. Now you just see the latest person that's kind of chatted, or you can go in there as well.
Yep,
But
and I
again,
love that people are saying
at
in
this.
chat, I just received a notice that he is on. Yes, if someone follows you on
Oh,
Behance, they will get a little
excellent.
ding that you are live. So you can show off your process. You can show off when you're drawing, when you're using Fresco, all completely live in the
That's
app. And
fantastic.
yes, I
Is this
believe you can.
showing? And it's showing right now too. Even the main menu, right?
Yep, absolutely everything's there.
Great.
Elizabeth says hi, Nick. I don't think we've ever done a stream inside a stream, so that's
That's a
magic.
first right now. Exactly. I
Yes.
love this. This is fantastic. So again, like I think like we always hear people saying, I'd love to start streaming. Here's your way. Like I didn't have to download. I know on desktop you do have to download quite a bit of stuff to do this, but to be able to do it here, pretty amazing.
It's amazing. It's easy, and it's a great way to connect with your audience. I do a lot of streaming on my personal Behance, but I have other setups and stuff. This is something that's accessible to everyone, and super easy. Everyone's jumping in for the other stream. That's awesome.
Yes, the camera can be turned off. That's a complete option you have when you are streaming, as well. And
Yes.
I think even your audio as well. You can
Yep.
just be designing and have a blast.
Yeah, you can just do the screen. Like you can totally just have the screen as you work, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple minutes left, and I want to recap some things that we want you to do.
Go for
Nick,
it.
what is our homework? We busted through so many things today. What is the takeaway? What is the homework?
We want you to create some kind of a work of art on Fresco. So download it. Even I'd love to see too. Well, like, tell us if you did it obviously on iPad or iPhone, because I think we'd love to see
Yes.
the challenge involved. I still can't get over what you're doing on your phone on this app. It's pretty amazing. And the idea here is to just get some inspiration from maybe the favorite city that you've ever traveled to. So it could be a photo, it could be your own art, could be typography. You could do some hand lettering. I think
Yep.
the cool thing is do something that would challenge yourself, something you don't do comfortably, something that would be a little bit of a risk.
Yep, and something that I've seen people do before is they'll take a photo and then just trace over the photo, and it becomes like a stylized version of that photo. You don't have to start from scratch. You can definitely have a photo of a vacation that you took, somewhere that you went, maybe a family member that you love, and do a portrait of them by simply tracing over it. Super easy, just on a new layer.
Excellent.
And Nick, we're winding down the show, but this is not the end of the show. What happens after
No,
this show?
because there's office hours after hours now.
Yes.
This is like, remember when all the shows that have the after show? We have an after show now, Andrew.
It's true. It's true. And I love how Mimi says you two are on fire today. Yes, this is one of the shows that will go down as we started on some sort of rails and we just completely jumped off them.
Completely off. Isn't that the better way? Come on.
That's how we love this show. That's how office hours really work. So
Yes.
you can join us over here's the Discord, bit.ly/OH abroad. I believe a mod is going to drop the link into chat. And Nick, in 2 minutes, what are we going to be doing in Discord?
Oh, we're just gonna hang out and say, hey, what's up, and talk, and chill, and then maybe give away some things.
Give away free stuff, and it's like good free stuff. Like it's actual, like will be mailed to you, cool merch from Adobe. So come over there, hang out, and as always, submit your homework. Today we will be doing we will be doing the giveaway for someone that has done homework. So if you do your homework, you can be entered to win the challenge. Make sure you post it in Discord, and maybe we'll give away some extra stuff too. Who knows?
Maybe
you'll just have to join us.
We're gonna test how well they were listening today, aren't we?
Yeah. So
there might be a little trivia.
Go click that link, go to the Discord. I'm going to go ahead and cut this channel. Thanks so much for joining us. Next week, we'll be talking about Arrow and getting into augmented reality. So it's going to be super fun. What? Nobody knows. So
it's 2021, baby.
Exactly, yeah. Hopefully we'll see you next week. At this point, with how this setup's gone, who knows? But we hope to see you next week. Same place, same time, 2:30 p.m.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks again.